Alright, this video I'm going to say that boards do hit back. So this is going to be analyzing that statement that Bruce Lee made in one of his movies. He said, boards don't hit back. You know, he said that statement in, believe it was the End of the Dragon. And to me, he was basically saying that to pretty much highlight like how, you know, okay, you're hitting this board, you're trying to intimidate me, and I'm not intimidated, you know. So, big deal. You're just hitting something, breaking something. You're not intimidating me, you know. So he's basically saying that to me. Another thing is, but if I look deeper into the statement, um, I see that, you can say that boards don't hit back, but at the same time, when you're in a movie and everything's choreographed and the people know what you're gonna do and you know what they're gonna do, then clearly that's not, the actor's not hitting back either, basically, because they're holding back. So they're not hitting you for real. They're holding back. So him being an actor in Hollywood is essentially, that's not real either. So um, that's what it gets me to think about. Another thing that gets me to think about is, you know, I feel that the boards, if you look at another perspective, they do hit back because they hit your fist back. So when you're striking that board, and whether you break it or you don't, the impact is going against your fist. And you can really damage your fist. If you don't hit it right, you can start bleeding. If you don't hit it right, you could break your whole fist. And even if you do hit it right, you can still break your fist. Because if you're trying to break like multiple boards, it's not an easy feat. Another thing is like the boards have a potential to put you in the hospital. If you hurt yourself, the board could hurt you. Even these wooden dummies, I mean, they don't hit you back, but when you hit the dummy, you could seriously injure yourself if you hit too hard. And these wooden dummies, they're harder than the human being. The human being is gonna get hurt, but the wooden dummy, the piece of wood, this solid wood right here, is not gonna get hurt. So you can't hurt that. So if anything, it will cause pain onto you. And I understand the statement, but at the same time, in this day and age where people are so competitive and so violent and so destructive, I think it's better for people to break boards than to break another person's face because they feel like they need to prove something. And yes, breaking boards, you're still killing a tree, and I don't agree to that either. Unless it's like a re-breakable board which is designed to break and then you could re-break. But when you go around breaking boards, you're hurting nature, and I don't agree to that. But what's even worse than hurting nature is hurting other human beings because you feel like you need to prove something. So breaking boards is not an easy feat. If you challenge yourself by trying to break multiple boards, it's not easy. And sometimes just breaking a few boards, and having people see what you were able to do already could intimidate the person enough to make them back off and not disrespect you and not try to engage with you because they see what you're capable of. Because another thing is, if you're incapable of breaking a board because your fist is not properly trained, then that's evidence right there to even prove that, hey, if your fists aren't even trained, then your whole body's probably not even trained either. What makes you think that your forearms could take pain and damage? What makes you think that you could take a punch to the face, to the jaw? What makes you think you could take a punch to the stomach, or somebody kicked you in the shin, or kicked you in the knee, or kicked you in the thigh? What makes you think you could take that? If you can't even take the pain of the board hitting back at you after you tried to hit the board, then it already shows like a weakness within you, and that can give confidence into whoever's trying to hurt you, to know that he will be able to hurt you. Because yes, it's not just about breaking boards when it comes to self-defense and having the ability to defend yourself. But if you claim yourself to be an advanced martial artist and you can't even break a few boards, then how advanced are you really? I think when you put a person to the test and you have him and you ask him to do something that's simple and he can't do it, then immediately you would start to lose your respect for that person's abilities. This person could be saying, oh, I'll beat you up, you're nothing, but then they can't even break a few boards. They can't even do that many push-ups. They throw them under the bench, they can't even bench press their own weight. They can't even squat their own weight. They can't even do a pull-up. They can't run a mile without stopping. They can't sprint. There's a lot of, you put them to the test athletically and they can't perform, then it gives you confidence in knowing that this person is just a facade. That is, unless this person has a gun and then he plans to just shoot you, then then the threat is real. But if this person has no gun, no weapons, and he's weak, he can't really do much calisthenics, he can't really lift much weights, can't break any boards, how is this person a threat? His body's not even conditioned. He's not even strong. He's not flexible. Say he's not even fast. So in Bruce Lee's movies, he wasn't breaking boards in the movies, but he was demonstrating his speed. So he was basically favoring speed over strength and just showing that, hey, you might be strong, you might be able to break these boards, but I'm a lot faster than you. So he was basically highlighting his speed. Because the other person that has strength could be like, well, you might be fast, but your hits don't hurt. You can hit me 10 times and I'm not going to feel it because you're weak. Your punches don't affect me. So it's like you got the people who are strong that could talk down on the people that are fast, and you got the people that are fast that could talk down on the people that are strong. The fast people are saying, you're strong, but you can't catch me. And then the strong people are saying, well, you're fast, but you can't hurt me because your hits are like nothing. As soon as I get one hit, you can hit me 20 times, but as soon as I hit you one time, the fight's over. That's what the strong person's saying. So my thing is, being strong is not good enough. Being fast is not good enough. You need to be both. So Bruce Lee should be just as fast as he was, but then again, he should be just as strong as his competitors too. He should be very strong for his size. And Bruce Lee is very well known for his demonstration of the two-finger push-up. That's one of the exercises that made him famous. People know him for that. And doing a push-up has nothing to do with the floor fighting back at you or anything like that. But for him to be able to do a two-finger push-up already gained so much respect from the people out there, more respect than a lot of almost anything that you could do when it comes to kicking and punching. So he used the push-up, the two-finger push-up, to gain respect. And there's people out there that will use board breaking to gain respect as well. Like, you know what, like, you know, I might not be able to do the two-finger push-up like you, but I could break all these boards with one hit, and you can't. So then that's pretty much demonstrating and showing this person's weakness. So we need to turn our weaknesses into strengths. So if Bruce Lee cannot break a lot of boards, then maybe that's showing something that he should be able to work towards. And this person that could break a lot of boards, if he can't do a pull-up and he can't do a two-finger push-up, then that shows a weakness of which he needs to develop to be better. So I agree with Bruce Lee in saying that boards don't hit back. But I also see the other side. You know, they actually do hit back, because you could really seriously injure yourself by hitting multiple boards and trying to break them, and you could break your hand. And those boards could break you. It could put you in the hospital more than what even a human being could do to you. It's like, you know, you could go around beating up on little toddlers and say, oh, you know, these toddlers are hitting back. But another thing is, who's hitting back? You're beating up on a toddler, and you're stroking your ego over this ability that you have of beating up little children, and then you're claiming, well, they're hitting back, it's fair. No, it's not. You know, like, basically what I'm saying is that people that are angry, people that feel like they need to prove something, they should direct this energy towards inanimate objects, like non-living objects, rather than people. So people that are angry and they want to hurt somebody, or they would rather, I would rather have them hit this wooden dummy as hard as they can. I'd rather have them break as many boards as they possibly can than to take that anger and frustration out to another human being and to hurt somebody. You know, people that are angry, I'd rather have them go to the firing range and shoot targets, to not go into the mall or to the school and shoot people. So in a way, Bruce Lee's statement almost encouraged, like, violence towards other humans. It's like, you know, people, rather than showing off that they can break boards and, you know, that they're highly fit, like a gymnast, where gymnasts are showing off their athleticism, you know, he's pretty much saying, you know, let's fight to see who's really better. And that, to me, is something that I disagree with. You know, but I just want to iterate the totality of the statement, the other side of it, the other aspect of it. You know, because he's basically highlighting the weaknesses of the individuals who just, you know, do a lot of demonstrations and breaking a lot of things, but then when it comes to real sparring, they can't even spar. He's highlighting their weaknesses and saying, you know, you guys practice martial arts, but when it comes to sparring, you can't even defend yourself. You guys aren't real martial artists. He's highlighting their weaknesses. But I also want to highlight the weaknesses of the people that can spar, but then they clearly got a lot of weaknesses of which they need to develop within themselves.